This is the Pilot's News Briefing Podcast. I'm Frank Daniels. With me today is Jonathan Bym from the Pilot's Newsroom, bringing us the latest news in Moore County. And we're heading up to your neck of the woods, and this is a Robbins-related
Yeah. So it's,
story.
it was from the Robbins Board of Commissioners meeting last week. No real action, but just sort of gave them a little update. So I didn't realize the timeline of all this stuff that's been going on with the water project. So this was it was ARPA money. So the American,
the American American Rescue Plan Act.
Yeah. So it's COVID money. Yeah, I was just trying to think of all the acronyms we had to deal with every once in a while. This was 3 years ago. The town was awarded a $4.3 million grant through the water utilities, so they could redo some water line in town. Which is, we're talking about, this is water line that dates back to the 1920s during the Works Project Authority. So this is stuff that's really outdated. They have problems all the time in it, and it was just going to be for about 1,200 linear feet, so a little over 2 miles, 2.5 miles ish of water line that was going to go through the main thoroughfare through town. So it means they're going to have to dig up roads. They're going to take up the old line, put in the new line, and it was going to provide the water lines in the town, and also update the water meters, which right there at the road for residentials.
Is that why they've been kind of sitting on it, because they know it's going to take a lot of?
So it was just one of those things, trying to find a developer they went through the Wooten Company, which is the contractor they use a lot. Had to figure out the right developer. They had to figure out the plan. And the quote from John Gray, who is one of the authorities within there, he says, "It's been a while to get things done, but we're on pace to meet the goal," which the goal means all COVID money has to be spent by the end of this year, end of 2026. So they're on pace for starting it next week. I guess actually this week. It's they'll be starting sometime later this week, with just initial stuff. You'll start seeing orange cones, orange barrels, equipment out there in Robbins, so they can replace the water lines and the water meters for about 588 meters. I think this was the number they give. And so these meters, they're not going to be analog, because Robbins was still going where the person would come out, check your meter on whatever day of the month, and then come back and put it in the computer. They write it on a piece of paper and come back, or they use it on their phone. But now they will be remote. They're called AMI. So they're going to be some of the remote quality, where they can be able to send off the information. It goes to town hall, and they can bill immediately with that. They don't have to go through the whole process of that stuff. And it also helps out to know if there was overuse that has been detected if someone was not there and everything.
Sure. So like that, which can really help with broken lines and stuff, finding the source of the problem more quickly.
And Robbins has had their fair share before the meter, have had their fair share in recent years with water line issues. So they're hoping this will really remedy that. They'll put in the isolation valves that will be able to limit, if they do have an incident with water, they can shut down this section of line. And it's going to go on Middleton Street, Middleton, Salisbury, Hemp Extension, Elm, and Foster Streets, which, if you are listening and you live in one of those, expect something between now and June. There's going to be a lot of construction, a lot of commotion going on in your area. And then within that, they put in a 5% contingency plan. So if something goes wrong, if that contingency doesn't get used up, it's about $176,000. Wooten plans on trying to see if they can see what they can do with the rest of the larger, for the businesses or whatnot, their water meters. They can see about replacing some of those within that $4.3 million grant. So
and updating them to digital meters or something.
Yeah, that's the goal. And then I think Robbins was looking into some just ways they can work on, filling in the rest of the town. So obviously these corridors are going to get fixed, but some aren't. So it's just been a weird little, 3 years of knowing you had it. Now it's finally here, and now it's going to be basically beating the clock. They're going to beat the clock. They're expecting it to be done by mid-June. So they're going to beat the clock, but it's just going to be one of those, it's going to be cutting kind of close.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember you've been speaking about this for a while, obviously, since they were awarded the grant, and so it's
Yeah, and so that now they think that was one of the main holdups too. Is there's been so many people in this, or there's been people in the community, there's people on the board who say we need new sidewalks. Well, that's been the hang up, is like, why build new sidewalks when we're going to basically tear up downtown for a little bit, or these roads with sidewalks, because we're going to have to replace the water line. So why not, let's get this done and then explore what options are done there for grants or funding, or if you got to go into debt service for new sidewalks. And so that'll be the next thing, probably next, not this coming budget, but maybe the budget after that, they'll start working or looking into what they can do for sidewalks in Robbins.
So they don't even really have anything on the books for that yet?
No, nothing yet. I think there's been some shoddy reporting from other places saying that they've got plans for sidewalks, but there is not.
It's nothing that official.
I think that was actually brought up in a candidate forum staged by some other
That's just
sources.
Another candidate forum. Yeah.
Yeah, and then they were talking about how Robbins was. I think it was misspoken, saying that Robbins has been assured money for new sidewalks, but that was completely false. So there's Robbins. They want to get new sidewalks, but there's also have to go through the avenues of trying to figure out what direction the board wants to do once this water project's done.
Yeah, sure. Because any changes like that obviously need to be voted on by the commissioners.
Yeah, or I think not he said, she said in town.
All right. Okay. Well, if you have questions about that, and after you read the story you still have questions, you can send those to Jonathan by emailing jonathan@thepilot.com, JONATHAN @thepilot.com. And if you have questions for me about what we are doing here, you can send that to frank@thepilot.com, FRANK @thepilot.com. And that's the latest news in Moore County.
Thanks, Frank.
Thank you.